Hello everybody and welcome to this first day of the sixth and last ISU World Cup speed skating of this season. We're live from T11 in Heerenveen, Netherlands, and are ready to see the skaters in action one more time before the World Championships in Hamar in 2 weeks. It's also the last chance for these skaters to gain points in the overall World Cup classification. So we'll see some action on the ice today. We start with the first 500 meters of this weekend for both the men and women, as well as the 1500 meters. We're skating that today. So we have the program for today. So the 500 meter, both the women and men. After that we have an ice reservice. Then the 1500 meter for the women, another ice reservice. And then we end today with the 1500 meters for the men. It's already quite a party here in T11 Heerenveen. This is the last race for the World Cup classification. Here we see the prizes. 1500 meters for the man. Shortly start with the 500 meters for the women. It's almost sold out here in the afternoon in T11 Heerenveen. Ice conditions 12.8 degrees Celsius. In the ice rink and minus 9.5 degrees Celsius. The ice temperature, so great conditions here in T11. We will see some new track records be broken. We'll see it shortly as we start with the women. So here we go, 20 women on the ice, competing in 10 pairs. They'll be racing for the number one spot. 60 points will go to the number one. As we see the overall World Cup standings, so it is a tight race between Jackson and Wojciech. Jackson won twice last weekend. Third we see Yoshida Schulting in fourth, Voskam in fifth, but all still close together. As 120 ports are still left for grabs. Into 500 meters this weekend. Here we see the first 5 pairs. With, of course, Femke Kok in that second pair already. 2 weeks ago, skated a new track record here in T11 Heerenveen during the Dutch National Championships. The first time below the 37 seconds. As we see the final 5 pairs with the World Cup leader Jackson in pair number 10. It's almost 7 o'clock local time as we'll start with the first pair on the ice. Here we go, pair number 1. The inner lane is for Sophie Warmuth from Germany. And the outer lane for Liziqian Wang from China.
Go to the start.
still very young skaters, 22 and 23 years old. Number 21 and 24 from the World Cup standings. Started in this first race, and we're off in TL Heerenveen for this last World Cup session of this season. You'll see the first openings here. It is at 10:45 for Sophie Warmouth. And Wang in 10:06. Warmouth we saw also last weekend. 16th and 20th on the 500 meters. Actually fourth in the team sprint, just missed out on a medal there with the German team. As we move to the finish, we see the finish for Warmouth in 38.01. A new personal best for her, and a 38.57 for Wang. Those are the first times on the scoreboard. Then move on to the second pair. As I said earlier, we already start with one of the favorites here on the ice. The inner lane is for Femke Kok. She started the year with an injury, but now she's back. World champion on this distance, the current track record holder. She goes against Julie Nystad Samsonsen from Norway in the outer lane. Only 20 years old. Norwegian champion on the 500 and 1000 meters. Will be started in this second pair.
Ready.
And we're off. Femke Kok against Julie Nystad Samsonsen. Will be quite a difference here on the first 100 meters. 10:32 from Femke Kok. What an opening from her. Samsonsen 10:61. She now goes to the outer lane. Can she beat her own track record from 2 weeks ago? The 36.97. As she goes onto the finish, it is 37.05. Again, a very fast time from Femke Kok. She takes over the lead. It is the third place at the moment for 38.42 for Julie Nystad Samsonsen. Again, a great race by Femke Kok. Such a consistent pace from her on these 500 meters in the world circuit. She's happy with that. 37.05. That's the time to beat for the remaining skaters on the ice here in TL Heerenveen. As we move on to the third pair, it is Karolina Bozik from Poland in the inner lane. Takes up against the Korean Na-Jin Lee. The number 17 and 18 from the current World Cup standings. Na-Jin Lee fourth last weekend. The second 500 meters. Also fourth on the 1000 meters. As we're off with this third pair. Let's see what these women can do in the opening. This Na-Jin Lee 10:47, already 15 hundredths of a second behind on Kok. Bozik 10:69 as they move onto the crossing. It is 19-year-old Na-Jin Lee in the inner lane. Takes over the lead from Bozik as she moves out to the last 100 meters. Here we have the finish for Na-Jin Lee. It is 37.91, second place for her at the moment. Bozik 38.26. The replay of that first corner. Great technique there by Bozique in that inner lane. This is Najan Lee. We'll get towards Bozique on the exchange. We then move on to the fourth pair already. It is the inner lane for Jutta Leerdam. Current sprint European champion, the national champion sprint. National champion on the 1000 meters. She's gonna compete against Rian Tian from China in the outer lane. Ninth last weekend on the 500 meters. Numbers 15 and 16 from the current World Cup standings.
Ready.
Ooh, and we have a false start there. This fourth pair.
Full start in the lane. Crossing the line.
Crossing the line with that front skate, which is of course not allowed, so the skaters are allowed one false start. And danger will be high for this restart of this fourth pair. It's 500 meter for the women.
Ready.
And we're off now. It is Leerdam against Tian. Let's see what openings are. It is Tian. Slightly better opening, 10-5 against Leerdam, 10-7. Good opening for Leerdam. Of course, for the national champion, world champion on the 1000 meters. Always good on the 1000 meters, but can she do it as well on this 500 meter here on her own ice rink? See great speed there by Leerdam as she comes towards the finish line, and it's 37.77. Second place for her. 38.15 for Rian Tian from China. Fifth place at the moment. So most of the Dutch women and men skate last weekend in the 5th World Cup. A week more time to prepare, as this is the final race before the important part of the season, the World Championships in Hamar in 2 weeks. So we continue with the 5th pair. It is the inner lane for Kristina Tsileva from Kazakhstan, number 13 from the World Cup standings, and she takes it up against Serena Pege from Italy, the number 14 in the World Cup standings.
Go to the start.
Which are the number 6 and 7 from last weekend, as we see Femke Kok following her race with her coach. And we're up. Difficult start there for the Italian Serena Pege, but she is away. But it is Sileva who takes the lead. As to cross the 100 mark, it is 10:59 for Sileva of Kazakhstan. Pege with that difficult start there, 10:84. We get towards 54 kilometers per hour. It is Pege. Comes quite close in that inner corner. Great corner from her. And to see the finish, it is the win for Salieva in 38.14. Slightly above for 38 seconds. 5th place at the moment, and Pege in 8th. There was shot a slight hiccup at the start for Pege. Which still came quite close to Salieva. Some good speed on the exchange and in that last inner corner there. To then move on to pair number 6. See both the Dutch women Great battles we saw between them the last couple of years. You see here another Dutch woman. It is Naomi Verkerk for the Netherlands in the inner lane against Carolina Hiller from Canada in the outer lane. The numbers 9 and 11 from the World Cup standings. Both skated on the podium last weekend. Verkerk with the team shirt, 1 bronze. And it was Hiller also reached the podium with the team sprint. She became second with Team Canada. We have the openings here, 10:43 for Hiller. Great opening for her. Verkerk in 10:68. This is Hiller trying to get across to Verkerk on that exchange. This 6th pair here. The first 500 meter of this weekend. This Verkerk slightly ahead. Last 50 meters for Verkerk. It is a 37.91 for her. 4th place at the moment. And a 38.2 for Carolina Hiller. She now sits in 8th. Quite a big gap now in the classification. Kok leading in 37.05. 2nd place at the moment for Jutta Leerdam, 37.77. So we now continue to the final 4 pairs. We also get the top of the World Cup classification on the ice. We see for pair number 7 in the inner lane, Katja Ziomek-Nagal. 7 from the World Cup standing. This is the outer lane for the Korean Min Soon Kim, winner of the World Cup classification in 2023. 2nd in last year's World Cup classification. 6th last weekend.
To the start.
The 2nd 500 meters. Sticks up again. Kaya Ziomek-Nagal, the winner in the team sprint last week.
Ready.
And we're off. It is a great start by Nagal. Powerful moves there, but Kim now trying to close that gap. 10:43 to 10:41. Close 100 openings for both women. Kim already catching Nagal in that inner corner. Great corner there by Kim. She moves to the finish. It is a 37.65 stake over that 2nd position from Jutta Leerdam. 37.97 for Katja Ziomek-Nagal from Poland. She is now in 6th place. Femke Kok looking at the scoreboard. Comfortable lead as we're now moving on to the last 3 pairs. As it is the Olympic champion on the 1000 meter, but not within speed skating. It is within the short track speed skating. Suzanne Schulting making the move to speed skating this year. 3rd at the European Championship sprint. She takes it up against Angelika Wojcik from Poland in the outer lane. The number 2 from the World Cup standings.
Go to the start.
Won a bronze medal last weekend. 2nd 500 meter.
Ready.
Silence in T-half before the start. And we're off with this 8th pair. See some great corners there from Schulting, the short track speed skater, now on the long track. 10-5 for Schulting, 10-4 for Wojcik. Great technique there by Schulting, but Wojcik slightly higher speed. Can she close the gap in the last corner? She can. Side by side as they go to the finish line. It is Schulting in a 37.83, fourth place for her. 38.07 for Wojcik. She's now in ninth. Bit of a disappointing there for Wojcik after her third place and a fourth place last weekend. Definitely hoped to also be in the top 3 this weekend. It is very competitive here on this 500 meter for the women as we continue with the 9th player. It is Kurima Inagawa from Japan. Number 6 in the World Cup classification. 5th last weekend. Which get it to 2 silver medals this season. And she goes against Dionne Voskamp in the outer lane. From the Netherlands. Skating.
Go to the start.
At our home ice rink. 5th in the World Cup standings. Already won once silver at this distance in this season. Over of Voskamp against Inagawa. Voskamp, the great opener, the first 100 meters there where she wants to win it for. Oh, and a fall there for Voskamp. That's unfortunate. That's also unfortunate for Inagawa. Now has to skate all on her own, and that's not good. Of course, she goes to the outer corner. Shows some great speed and some great technique. Let's see what her time will be as we go towards the finish. It is Inagawa in 37.87, 5th place at the moment. Very unfortunate that fall for Voskamp. Let's see the replay. Great start by both skaters. Looks like her skate just gets out of the ice. Very unfortunate for Voskamp. Hopefully we will see her back this Sunday on the second 500 meter. She waves towards the crowd. Let's get it here in TLF Heerenveen. So the eyes will probably be checked after that fall. And this is Kok, the lead on in a moment. 37.05. 6 tenths faster than the number 2 at the moment. To Min Sung Kim from Korea. In the third it is Leerdam. 37.77. As we continue with the final pair. Pair number 10. With the leader of the World Cup classification. Winner of last year's World Cup classification, and of course the Olympic champion on this distance. She won both 500 meters last weekend. We can say she's back. Can she win today as well? We'll shortly see, as it is Erin Jackson starting in that inner lane. She goes up again. Yukino Yoshida from Japan in the outer lane, number 3 in the World Cup classification at the moment. After that fall, we see the ice masters talking to the referee about that fall from Voskamp, making sure the ice is not damaged. Of course, the women and also the men shortly will go with 55 plus kilometers per hour over the ice. So And the snow is in perfect condition as it is Jackson against Yoshida for the last 500 meter pair.
Go to the start.
Yoshida also won 2 World Cups this season already. This weekend didn't get the results that she wanted. 5th and 8th as we're off with this final pair on the 500 meter for the women. Great technique by Jackson as shows in 10.5. 10.58 for Yoshida. So already slightly behind on Kok, but can they make up in the full lap? Let's see. If we look at the speeds on the bottom right corner, 53.6 kilometers per hour for Jackson. She's way in front of Yoshida. 54 kilometers per hour as she goes to finish. It is a 37.71. It's the 3rd place for Jackson and another win from Femke Kok. What a great race by her. So Jackson in 3rd. Yoshida in 15. As Jackson waves to all the fans here in TL Heerenveen. Kok in 1st, Kim in 2nd, and Jackson in 3rd. That's your top 3 on this first 500 meter for the women. See the replay from Jackson. Great cornering there. First inner corner. And of course Kok very happy with her result. Another 37.0. It was 36.9. New track record 2 weeks ago. But very consistent her performance over the last couple of months as we see the final results here. So Kok wins this first 500 meter of the weekend for Min-Sung Kim, Aaron Jackson, Jutta Leerdam and Suzanne Schulting. That's the top 5. This is a very close battle between the numbers 2 to 6. With Femke Kok with the big lead. The numbers 11 to 20 with, of course, unfortunate Diana Voskamp after a fall in 20th place. We have immediately the updated World Cup standings. So Jackson increased her lead, 28 points in the lead over Wojcik. So 60 points more to grab on Sunday in the final 500 meters. Yoshida in 3rd, Schulting in 4th, and Inagawa in 5th. Kok gaining a few places on the World Cup standard, but of course she missed the first 2 World Cups due to an injury in the summer. She shows some great form. And she will probably be looking at the World Championships in 2 weeks in Hamar. She will try to become again the world champion on the 500 meters. As we now have a short break to repair the ice after that fall of Diana Voskamp before we continue with the men's 500 meters. So stay tuned. We don't have an ice reserve between the 2 500 meters, but because of that fall we have a short ice repair. Here we see the World Cup standings for the men 500 meters. So shortly starting with the first 500 meter of this weekend. As it is, of course, Jordan Stolz leading with a big advantage over Dubero. But behind him, it's still a tight race for that second place. So we have the starting list here. So 20 men on the ice, divided in 10 pairs. See the first 5 pairs on the screen. Already in the second pair, it is Yevgeny Koshin from Kazakhstan. The surprise of last weekend, as he won the 500 meter, the second 500 meter, and also beat Stolz there. Can he do it again? So we then move on to the pair number 6 to 10 with, of course, Stolz in pair number 8. And his direct rival, Yannick Debo, in the last pair number 10. So we'll see if we have another great competition here on the ice. Of course, Yannick Debo. Track record 2 weeks ago during the Dutch National Championships on both the 500 and 1000 meters. Track record now 34.05. Can he beat that again? Can he beat the 34-second mark? Maybe Jordan Stolz, or of course Yevgeny Koshin. We will be looking at them and also be looking at the other skaters, as we heard our starter Yanni Smegen from the Netherlands prepare the start of the first pair. It is the inner lane from Shanjuk Cho from Korea. Number 23 from the World Cup standings against Ryoji Kojima from Japan in the outer lane. Number 30 in the World Cup standings. Second in the B group last weekend. Gained enough points with that good result. So now is present here in this A group. So within the World Cup circuit you have the B and the A group. B group always skates in the morning for the places 21 to 40. We have the opening 9.6 for Chang Cho and 9.9 for Ryota Kojima. We will set the first times on the scoreboard. As I was saying, the B group always skates in the morning. If you have enough World Cup points, then you may enter the A group. We have the first times on the scoreboard. 34.77 for Shinju Cho from Korea. This is 35.16 for Ryoja Kojima from Japan. That are the first times to beat for the next pair. Pair number 2. Yevgeny Koshin in the inner lane from Kazakhstan. Only 22 years old. Number 17 in the World Cup standings. One of 5 people to have beaten Jordan Stolz this season. Can he do it again? We'll see there. She takes it up against Katsuri Krutsubo from Japan.
Ready.
That's the start of these two skaters. Great start there by the Kazakhstan. Koshin. Opening of 9.3 for Koshin. What a great start. What can he do with that? We'll see how his lap is gonna be. We got him, Kautsubu, back on the international podium after a few years off. Koshing, can he be the surprise once again after last weekend? We'll see it here. It is a 34.30 for him. It is a new personal best. Yannick Bo looking at the scoreboard, but still 34.30, not impossible for De Bo and Stolz. So he leaves a bit of room there. We'll see them in pair 8 and 10. But what a great start with that opening 9.36 for Koshing, taking over the lead. Some power from the 22-year-old. And approval there from Yannick De Bo. We continue with pair number 3. This is the inner lane for the number 13 and 16 last weekend on the 500 meter. The Polish Piotr Michalski. He goes up against Zach Stoppelmoor from the United States in the outer lane. Won the team sprint with Team USA last weekend, where there's a medal in his pocket from this European World Cup tour.
Ready.
Signature down start. And we're off with this third pair. Michalski against Stoppelmoor. With the first 100 meters, those are for Michalski, 9.74 against 9.87. Those are slower than the great start by Koshing. We'll see what the speed does. Probably see speeds towards the 60 kilometers per hour. We have the finish here. It is the finish for Piotr Michalski. 4th place at the moment for him, 34.93. And Zach Stoppelmoor, 5th place, 35.11. So 4th and 5th for these skaters. The great inner corner there by Stoppelmoor. Great technique. Trying to get that speed. See Mulder in the stands, looking to this 500 meters. Move on to the 4th pair. This Juno Kim, bronze medal winner, 500 meter last weekend. Already 2 bronze this season. She goes up against Björn Magnussen, number 14 from the World Cup classification at the moment.
Ready.
Let's see what Juno Kim can do after his bronze medal win last weekend. He goes fast on that first 100 meters, 9.5. 9.77 for Björn Magnussen. Has to close the gap on the exchange. You can see the high speed for the Norwegian. She almost reached 60 kilometers per hour as they come out of that last corner. It is still Kim leading as he gets towards the finish line, a 34.37. Great race there by Kim as she moves into 2nd place. 34.66 for Björn Magnussen in 3rd. So it is Koshkin still leading for Kim and Magnussen. Great corner there by the Norwegian Magnussen. Had some distance to Kim on that first 100 meters, but in the end managed to close that gap, but not enough. As he now in third, right behind Kim. As we move on to the fifth place, an all Dutch pair. As it is Stefan Westbrook in the inner lane for the Netherlands. As he takes a gap against Marijn Scheperkamp. Also from the Netherlands, number 11 and 12 from the World Cup standings.
Go to the start.
Both still very young. Westbrook only 22 years old. Against Scheperkamp, 24 years old. Second in European Sprint Championships. Slight movement there before the starting pistol of, I think, the inner lane, Westbrook. Slight movement by the right leg and the arm. And that's of course not allowed, so we'll have a restart of this fifth pair. Tension rises here in TL Heerenveen. So we see indeed Westbrook, who gets the false start.
Go to the start. Ready.
And we're off. It is Westbrook against Scheperkamp. First 100 meters. What are the openings? It is a 9.6 for Scheperkamp. Great opening for Scheperkamp. Westbrook in 9.7. Scheperkamp already closing that gap. High speeds there from Scheperkamp. 59 kilometers per hour. Difficult corner entry there of that inner corner. With such high speed, it is Scheperkamp leading and finishing first. It is 34.65. Third place for Scheperkamp and Westbrook in 35.24. 10th place for him. 12 and 11 last weekend during the 5th World Cup. See the exchange one more time. Great racing there by Scheperkamp. There, a little different crossover halfway through the last corner, but with such high speeds, small mistake is easily made. As we then move on to pair number 6. Here's the inner lane for the Dutchman Sebastian Diniz. The number 9 in the overall World Cup classification. 5th last weekend. 500 meter. Takes the gap against Martin Leaf from Estonia.
Go to the start.
The number 10 in the overall World Cup classification. Also number 5 in the European Sprint Championships. Moved a little bit there, Diniz, but he may go away as he takes the early lead in his first 100 meters. 9.49. Sebastian Diniz, great opening against the 9.68 for Martin Leaf. The openings are always good from Diniz, but can he carry that speed throughout the full lap? It is Liv on the inner lane. The inner corner, great corner there. Again, high speeds. This Liv closing that gap, but still Diniz leading. It is 34.42 for Diniz. Almost beats his personal best. Martin Leaf in 4th place, 34.57. So again, some great racing here on the ice of TL Heerenveen. Diniz happy with his performance. 100ths of a second above his personal best. And it goes also happy with his performance. Great performance there by Diniz. Great opening to see Jenning de Bo very calmly preparing himself for his race in that 10th pair. But now we continue with pair number 7. This is the inner lane for the Polish skater Damian Zurek. Third last year on the World Championships. 500 meters. Takes it up against Batura Morishige from Japan. Bronze medal winner on the 2022 Olympic Games on this distance. Winner of the World Cup last season. Japanese skater in the outer lane as we are away with this second pair. The 7th pair, of course. It is Morishige taking the lead. 9.68 against 9.87 for Zurek. But we know Zurek comes up with these great full lamps. Oh, little hiccup there for Zurek. See the fast speed, 59.3 kilometers per hour for Morishige. Great inner corner there from him with that speed. What will his time be? It is 34.687 place for him at the moment. 34.94 for Zurek with that small hiccup on the exchange. Number 7 from last weekend. First 500 meter. We then move on to a very excited pair. Two great speed skaters, two great sprinters on the ice. It is the inner lane for the number 2 at last year's World Championships. The 2-time silver medal winner last weekend, 500 meters. It is Lauren Dubra from Canada in the inner lane. He takes it up against the world champion on the 500 meter, on the 1000 meter, and also on the 1500 meter. On the 500, 1000, 1500 meter last weekend, but got beaten on that second 500 meter. And this is what he is aiming at. The 34.05 from Jenning de Bo, skated 2 weeks ago. Can he be the 34-second mark here on the ice of TLF Heerenveen?
Ready.
Stolz in the outer lane. Here we go. We're away in one time. It is Dubro against Stolz. To go towards the first 100 meters. It is a 9.5 for Dubro, 9.6 for Stolz. That can take him anywhere. Dubro now making sure he gets the lead. Stolz trying to close that gap. Already towards the 60 kilometers per hour in that inner corner. Moves alongside Dubro. Both alongside. It is Stolz slightly ahead as he crosses the finish line. 34.27 takes over the lead. In first place now Stolz. 4th place for Dubro, 34.41. Jenning will be thinking this is a time. I've skated before on this ice. You see the replay of Stolz. Great technique in that last inner corner. It's almost 60 kilometers per hour. Only 3/100ths of a second before Koshing. So it is Stolz now leading before Koshing and Junhoo Kim in 3rd as we move on to the 9th pair. Cooper McLeod from the USA. Starting in the inner lane, the number 6 in the overall World Cup standings. And he goes up against Tatsuya Shinama. Number 3 in the overall World Cup standings. Won 1 World Cup so far this season. One of the 4 skaters that has beaten Stolz this season already. So can he do that today?
Ready.
Complete silence in TLF. for this 9th pair. And we are away with McLeod and Shinama. This Shinama who opens with a 9-4-9. McLeod a 9-6-7. It will be a great exchange here for the Japanese skater. Can close that gap on that exchange. What will the speed be? 59.4, slightly slower than we just saw from Stolz. Can he keep up in that inner corner? As he gets onto the finish line, it's a 34.38. Again, a very fast time. Very close racing here in this 500 meter, but it is a 4th place for him at the moment. Now 34.74 for Cooper McLeod. 11th place for him. Sliding up there in that inner corner for Cooper McLeod. His first corner. Every slight hiccup is not wished, of course. So we then move on to the bow. Pair number 10, the last pair on this first 500 meter. The inner lane for Polish skater Marek Kania. Second last weekend where he beat Stolz. Can he do that again? Stolz, the current leader in the overall standings. And here he is, Yannick de Beau, the home favorite. European sprint champion. Only 21 years old, former short track speed skater. Former junior world champion. The 500 meter in short track speed skating.
Ready.
Can he beat Stolz? We'll see. As we're away, and there was a slight movement there for Yannick Bo. Not his best first few steps. But we'll see an opening here. It is the open for the Bo. 9.55 against 9.69 from Kania. And this is important. What will the speed be? Great exchange from the Bo. 60 kilometers per hour. This is it as he gets into that inner corner. The difficult inner corner with these speeds. As he gets cheered on by the crowd in Tialf. It is the finish for the Bo. 34.18. The win for Yannick de Beau. And it is the 8th place for Kania. 34.57. So not as fast as 2 weeks ago, but it is the win. And of course, he beats for the first time this season Jordan Stolz. Only 2 weeks before the World Championships in Hamar. It will be an important win for Yannick de Beau as he enjoys the fans, the great speed skating fans here in Tialf, Heerenveen. We'll see the start of the Bo. Slight movement there at the start, so not the best first few steps. With that great technique, especially in the corners from his experience in short track speed skating. 60 plus kilometers per hour, not a problem for de Beau. As he wins this first 500 meter of this weekend. Coach Gerard van Velde also very happy with that win. Of course, in a fully packed home stadium. We have the final results on your screen. It is the win for De Bo. Time of 34.18. 900ths of a second behind him. Jordan Stoltz in second. And Koshing, the surprise of last week, in third. You then see the numbers 11 to 20. On this 500 meter, the first 500 meter of this weekend. We'll see the updated World Cup standings. So Stoltz still leading, of course. Also Dubrow slightly expanding his lead. It's also important for the prize money, of course, at the end of the World Cup season. So we then will get an ice resurface here in TLV Heerenveen. Move on with the 1500 meters for women. Division A at 2011. So in about 50 minutes we will restart the competition with the 1500 meter for women. So stay tuned, as we have two exciting competitions left today. 1500 meter for the women and 1500 meters for the men.
Ja, nee, dat is hartstikke mooi. Weet je, als je van Stoltz wint, dan kan je een rondje winnen. En, nou ja, wij is vandaag nog. Ja, ja. En ik merkte dat ik heel goed ging, dus toen was het rondje wat gehaast. Dus ik keek meteen omhoog naar de klok, naar de finish. Maar het was wel genoeg, zeg ik.
Weet jij hier echt puur voor de zege of had jij nog een tijd?
Nee, ik reed wel voor de zege. Ik heb op het EK een tijd gereden. Natuurlijk droom je van een 33. Bij zo'n World Cup staat winnen op 1 en dat heb ik nog nooit gedaan. Dus mijn hart staat echt hier voor de race.
Je zegt net ook,
ja.
Is dat het woord wat hierbij hoort?
Ja, mensen verwachten er wel wat van je. Je zit in de allerlaatste rit en dan leg je zelf zo'n druk op. Ja, dan verwacht je gewoon heel veel van jezelf. Dus als het dan echt lukt, dat is gewoon opluchting, last bij je schouders.
Zelfs voor jou rijden.
Ik dacht, ik kan harder. Ik heb hier 3 keer harder gegeven volgens mij. Dus ik dacht, dat moet wel de 4e keer lukken.
Het was een 500 meter van ontzettend hoog. Niet alleen voor jou, maar ook bijvoorbeeld weer van die kosten.
Ja.
Waar is hij al? Hij rijdt hier van de kosten.
Ja, ik stond even met de mond open te kijken naar zijn rit. Hij was al best vroeg. Ook in Polen kwam je eigenlijk, nou ik wil niet zeggen uit de lucht vallen, want snel open toen hij altijd, maar zo'n harde tijd rij je niet. Dus nee, ik vind het alleen maar mooi.
Is hij dan een nieuwe concurrent?
Zeker, hij is ook een jonkie, dus dat vind ik mooi. Hij is voor mij 22. Ik is goed al bij 21, dus nou, ik vind het mooi vechten.
Ben jij niet
Ik was vandaag de snelste, dus dat is mooi. Tot lekker af. Ja, dankjewel. Good job. First win, man. First World Cup. Yeah.
so much for participating in the greatest ice speed skating party of the world, of course, here in Heerenveen. We're going over to the celebration. You see the boat over there, as we call that officially. Dus we gaan over, dames en heren. We gaan onze blikken richten op het middenterrein. We gaan richting de huldiging.
Representing the United States of America, Aaron Jackson. With a time of 37.65, representing the Republic of Korea, Kim Min-soon. First place and winner of this 500 meters women with a time of 37.05. Third time ever skated here in TL Heerenveen. Representing the Netherlands, TL, laat je horen voor Femke Kok! Give them one more big applause. Our top three of this 500 meters women of the ISU World Cup Speed Skating here in Heerenveen. Third place, Aaron Jackson. Second, Kim Min-soon. And the winner, Femke Kok! Beste tribune. De dames zwaaien nog speciaal voor jullie, naar jullie. Dat betekent dat we natuurlijk ook weer naar het binnentrein gaan. En daar hebben we natuurlijk maar één collega on the infield, our colleague Linda. Who is with you?
Ja, ik heb natuurlijk de winnares bij me, Femke Kok. Femke. Nou, zag ik je na je race, zag ik je lopen en ik vond je er zo ontspannen uitzien. Was dat nou ook zo?
Nou, ik had er heel veel zin in en ik was best wel ontspannen vandaag. Alleen ik moest alweer in rit 2 en dan heb je toch wat minder die spanning. Maar doordat het publiek zo uit zijn dak ging, zat ik er meteen goed in.
Had je dan ook verwacht, je zegt net ik moest in rit 2, had je wel verwacht dat je zo hard kon rijden?
Ik wist niet zo goed waar ik stond, omdat ik vorige week best wel heb getraind. Maar super blij dat dit de tijd was.
Hey, en zondag nog een keertje, hè? Hoe ga je daar nou naartoe?
Ja, ik heb er heel veel zin in en ik hoop vooral dat het net ietsje sneller gaat.
Hoop je dan ook op een verbetering van je eigen baankomst?
Stiekem wel natuurlijk.
Dan gaan we in ieder geval jou nog even een wijze applaus geven. Met Jan even een heel groot applaus voor onze winnares, Femke Kok!
Just prepare for this one because this is
Ja, dames en heren, we denken dat wij... Dankjewel Linda natuurlijk, sorry daarvoor. Ja, natuurlijk wel eerst netjes bedanken. Dan zijn er wij een gezellig stukje muziek kunnen draaien tot de volgende huldiging waar we op weg naartoe zijn. Blijf lekker bij ons. Zometeen zijn we terug. 500 meter mannen, huldiging.
No problem. Well, like, you don't think of skipping forward because you were like on antibiotics and stuff? Because I heard you're like pretty sick after the rugby. Still, you did pretty good. But like, it wasn't the gap. It was crazy because you won like 3 distances and then the last day, of course, it was a bit less. And then everyone in the Netherlands was like, oh my god, oh my god. And I was like, it just makes sense because he's been sick, you know, but in Hammer he'll be there. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, he's beatable, he's made of flesh, all those kind of stuff, you know. All the titles were on my year. So that was only pretty fun thing to watch. And of course he was pretty good. I've never seen this kind of level in jail though, you know? I think the only time was like with Chanel.
Als ik ook maar meekijk naar het middentrein en de discipline, dan zie je daar al mensen opgesteld staan. De dignitaries en natuurlijk ook de atleten. Ik wil zeggen dat wij overgaan naar de
international competition.
Gentlemen, the prize-giving ceremony, ISU World Cup Speed Skating Heerenveen 2025, 500 meters men. In third place, in a new personal best of 34.30, representing Kazakhstan, Yevgeny Koshkin. Medals will be presented by Mr. Sergio Anasi, the representative of the ISU. And the local gifts will be presented by Mr. Herman de Haan, the president of the Royal Dutch Skating Federation. And then in second place, with a time of 34.27, representing the United States of America, Jordan Stoltz. And then in first place and winner of this 500-meter man, in a time of 34.18, the 5th time ever skated here in TL Heerenveen, representing the Netherlands, TL, laat het dak maar knallen voor Boeboe Jelling de Waal!
die opluchting dat je hem eindelijk hebt?
Ja, het is wel een beetje waar iedereen het constant over heeft. Dus dat brengt een extra stukje druk mee. Dus ja, dat maakt deze overwinning misschien nog wel ietsje mooier.
En je zegt net, je hebt al die tijden dan voor je gezien, maar schrok je er ook van? Want ja, je hebt twee weken geleden hier het buitenkoor ook gereden. Denk je dan, oh, het kan nog wel harder? Of?
Nou, de Kazach zat al in een best vroege rit en die reed natuurlijk al een super snelle tijd. Dus ik dacht toch nog wat knijt uitgereden op het ijs is supergoed. En het was een beetje van allebei.
Maar eigenlijk heb jij hier laten zien dat je nog harder kan, dus wat mogen we zondag van je verwachten?
Ja, ik hoop natuurlijk nog harder kunnen en die magische grens van de 34 te verbreken. Maar ja, dat gaan we zo nog zien.
Tian, nog even een onwijs bedankt voor Jenny de Haan.
We hebben een heel speciaal liedje voor Jenny, maar we moeten allemaal een klein beetje oefenen. We gaan natuurlijk over naar de wedstrijd zo meteen. Laten we even één keer oefenen. Het is boem, 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 en het is Jenny de Haan. Laten we samen even gewoon even één keer oefenen. Haal even die adem. We starten ermee. Vinger, let op. Jenny de Haan. Nog een keer. Jenny. Nog een keer. Jenny. Nog een keer. Kom niet. Jenny. Mooi. Het wordt nog eens af. Dat is leuk hoor. Dat is leuk. Dames en heren, we gaan nu snel door van de gezelligheid hier maximaal naar de gezelligheid hier midden op de baan. We gaan terug naar onze wedstrijdspiekers helemaal bij de finish. Dankjewel DJ van de Daan. Fantastisch gebeurd hier in jouw carnavalsweekend. De wijze DJ, de short DJ en we willen veel weer uit de DJ. We gaan ons opmaken voor de 1500 meter mannen. Next event, 1500 meters women. Niet de mannen, maar de vrouwen. We gaan natuurlijk ook met facts en figures met jullie doornemen, deze 1500 meter. Dan weten we dat de watervoorwaarts geboren hier op een bovenschut van die al Antoinette Rijkmanion, maar kroon van uit bij het Europees Alwaardkampioenschap achter de beaamde aanslepen hier in Tiel. Zij is watervoorwaarts 1,52,95. Dat is de defending champion Miho Takagi, de World Cup winnares. De laatste rit komt in actie. De Japanse grootheid.
And we're back after the medal ceremonies for the first 500 meter of the weekend. Was the win for Femke Kok and Jenning de Bo. So we now continue with the women's 1500 meter. Last chance for the women to gain some points for the World Cup classification. Here we see the overall standings. It is Takagi, 60-point lead over Beunen, and that means that she is most likely to win the overall World Cup classification, as we have the starting list. See the first 10 women, first 5 pairs. Here pair number 6 to 10 win with of course Takagi in pair number 10. Marke Groenewoud, the winner of last weekend, 1500 meter in pair number 9. Can she win again this weekend? We will see as we start with the first pair. Is number 24 from the World Cup classification, Nikola Zerdrova from the Czech Republic. She takes it up against Qi Yin from China, number 31 from the World Cup classification.
Ready.
Markings on the boot and skate to know exactly where it's placed. Very important for the skaters, their material. The slightest movement of the blade will be felt by the skaters, as we had the start for Zadorlova. Takes the early lead. First 300 meter, 25.38. And it is Yin with 26.41. Yin, we saw her win the 1000 and 1500 meter last weekend in the B group. She gained enough points with that to start in the A group this weekend. Right on time for the last World Cup skating in the A Group S. She closes that gap a little bit to Zadorova. 54.06 for her, 54.49 for Yin. But Yin with the faster lap time, and also the faster speed on the bottom right of the screen. She now will stay slightly ahead probably for Zadorova. So it is the 1100 meters and the bell for Yin now in the lead. 1:23.87 and a 1:24.01 for Zadorova. Zadorova still with her hands on the back in this last lap. Yin fighting for the win in this first pair. She has the last inner corner as they go towards the finish. It is the win for Yin in 1:55.31. It is 1:55.43 for Zadorova. First two skaters on the scoreboard. So the false start from Zadorova, second the B division last weekend behind Yin. But in the end it is the faster intermediate laps from Yin who takes the win in this first pair. As we move on to second pair of the 1500 meters, it is Martina Sablikova in the inner lane. From the Czech Republic, and in the outer lane representing Germany, Leah Sophie Schulz. Those are the numbers 17 and 22 in the overall classification of the World Cup. Sablikova fifth on the 3000 meter last weekend. 2000 meter world record holder, three-time Olympic champion, started in the inner lane. She has to get up to speed, so the first 300 meters, those are the most difficult for her. Therefore, it is Leah Sophie Schulz who has taken the lead in 25.85 and 26.67 for Sablikova. As this Schulz crossing over Sablikova on that first exchange. Great technique from Sablikova, especially for the longer distance, those 3000, 5000 meters. And we also see the skaters also doing the 1500 meter just to gain that slightly higher speed and make sure they're comfortable on that slightly higher speed. It is Schulz still leading, Sablikova now with that higher speed. This is what she likes, making sure those laps, the 3 full laps, are as fast as possible as you get the bell for the last lap for Schulz, still leading 1:25.62, 1.7 seconds behind on the current leader Yin. Sablikova 1:25.80, still with that high speed and that special technique that we see more often now within the women's 1500 meter. Both hands on the back all the time in order to get some better resistance. We have the final finish, 1:56.87, and she's happy with that. Sablikova in a third, 1:57.55 for Leah Sophie Schulz, now in fourth place. Better for the aerodynamics. Both hands on the back. some do still prefer to have one hand loose in order to keep that rhythm. It's so important on the 1500 meters to see Marijke Groenhout, the winner of last weekend, warming up in the middle of the track. So we then move on to the third pair. Number 14 in the World Cup classification. She will be competing against Momoko Arikawa from Japan. Number 16 in the World Cup classification.
Ready.
And we're off with this third pair. So number 13 and 14 on the 1500 meter last weekend. Both women still very young, 21 years old. So we have the openings for Greta Myers, 25.95 against the 26.36 for Arikawa. Those times are compared, of course, to our current leader, Ki Yin. As we see Wiklund preparing for her race in pair number 9, but we're still focusing on Myers. Myers increasing her gap to Arikawa, 54.49. Second time at the moment, and she crosses over Arikawa on the exchange. Great racing up until now by Myers. Keeps the speed, keeps the rhythm. One hand loose in the corner and also keeps it loose on the straight. As we hear the bell for the last lap for Myers, 1:24.88. Time 30.39, slightly slower than Arikawa. Can Arikawa close that gap? Both more than 1 second behind on Yin already. But it is the higher speed from the Japanese skater, and here it is. Takes over the lead in this race. Arikawa. It gets difficult for Myers. It is the win in this third pair for Arikawa. Great last lap, 38. To final time of 1:56.29. Third place at the moment for Arikawa. It is a 1:58.09 for Myers. Difficult last lap there. Shakes her head, not happy. Looked very good up until 1100 meters. That last lap was a bit too long. It was Arikawa with that great last lap. Only 6/10. 1 second difference between the second and third full lap. We move on to the fourth pair. Is the national record holder in the 1500 meters for Belgium, Isabelle Van Elst. We already saw her on the 500 meter in the B group this morning. Came 11th. Now skating this 1500 meter as we have in the outer lane Melissa Wijfje from the Netherlands.
Go to the start.
Number 12 from last weekend.
Ready.
And we're off with this fourth pair. So very fast personal best there for Melissa Wijfje. It was of course skated a couple of years ago. One of the high altitude tracks. But it is Van Elst taking the early lead as we go towards the first 300 meters of this fourth pair. It is the 25.81 for Isabelle Van Elst and 26.61 for Melissa Wijfje. As we see the coach Michel Mulder, former world champion in 500 meter and sprint world champion. Coaching Isabelle van Elst. She keeps her lead over Melissa Wijf. It is the first full lap for Isabelle van Elst in 28.71. Just behind on Yin. Yin still leading in the classification. 29.21 for Melissa Wijfje. The speeds of 48 kilometers per hour. Great speed by Isabelle van Elst and Melissa Wijfje. Always has a slightly slower start, but now she gets into her rhythm. Is 30.2 lap time, which is slightly slower than Yin, losing out about a second. 124.78 and is 125.94 for Melissa Wijfje. But that lap time of 31, can she hold on to that? As she tries to close the gap to Van Elst. It looks like the gap is a little too big. Van Elst keeping her arms on her back as she crosses the finish line in the time of 1:56.86, fourth time at the moment, and the 1:57.26 for Melissa Wijfje. It's the sixth time in overall classification. So 4 pairs already skated, 6 pairs to go. Still Yin leading for Stradalova and Harikawa in third at the moment. To see Mio Takagi entering the arena. You see her on the ice in pair number 10. Here we have pair number 5, Valerie Maltais in the inner lane. Representing Canada, number 11 in the World Cup ranking. In the outer lane it is the short track speed skater. Also skating on the long track, of course, it is Angel Daleman from the Netherlands. Or purple Evo blades. Only 17 years old.
Ready.
But already doing so many competitions, both in short track, in the World Tour this season. We already saw her competing there. We'll see her competing in the World Championships in about 2 weeks. As she takes the lead early in this race on her way to the opening. 25.4, great opening by Daleman. We have Maltais in the inner lane. Now gets up to speed, great exchange for her. See the great speed for Daleman, trying to stay relaxed. That's the important thing on this 1500 meter. Making sure those laps come quite easily. It is 28.2 for Daleman, 53.66. Time in between, 54.36 for Maltais, both still in front of Yin. It is now Maltais slightly faster than Daleman as they go towards the final lap, as we are the bell for the final lap. It is Maltais now alongside of Daleman. Great intermediate lap for Maltais, 29.6, but both are slower than Yin. We had a lap time of 29.3. Now it gets difficult for Daleman. Keeps her hands on her back. Maltais with that higher speed. Time to beat, 1:55.31. Can Maltais beat it? She comes in third with a 55.59, slightly behind on Yin, and it is Daleman in 7th, 1:57.23. not happy with that performance, especially the last lap. Was looking quite good the first 2 full laps. The last lap was a bit too long, as we are halfway this 1500 meters. See Jenning de Bo doing his cooling down after his win earlier this evening. First 1500 meter of the weekend. We'll see him back tomorrow on the 1000 meter and on Sunday of the second 500 meter. We now have the 6th pair, Bingju Yang from China in the inner lane. This Antoinette Rijpma de Jong, the track record holder, representing the Netherlands in the outer lane, the number 9 and 10 from the World Cup standings.
Ready.
And it will be a restart. Slight movement there with the right skate from Antoinette de Jong. We'll probably see here in the replay. It's moving there. That's why start will be restarted. So Antoinette de Jong 3rd. The 2022 Olympic Games on these 1500 meters. The reigning European champion all around. Can do
Full start, out lane, not
shorter
stable
distance
position.
as well as
Go to the start.
5,000 meters. Only won 1 World Cup medal this season yet on the 1500
Ready.
meter. Got the bronze medal in Calgary, as we now have a good start from Yang and Rijpma de Jong. Yang 6th last weekend on the 1500 meters. Second in the World Cup classification for the mass start. Skated quite a few good results this season. So we have the opening for Rijpma de Jong, 25.61. And 25.75 for Yang. So way faster than Yin in that first race, the first pair. But she had a very consistent 3 laps. We'll compare it to her. De Jong and Yang. So this De Jong leading. First full lap, 28.4 against 28.67 for Yang. Both still slightly faster than Yin. But the lap time of Yin was 28.0. So they are losing a little bit of time. But what will their intermediate lap be? Both skaters have that endurance, slightly slower lap times, and now they are behind on Yin. So Yang 6th on the 3000 meter last weekend, can therefore also skate the longer distances. We know from Antoinette Rijpma de Jong that she can do that as well. We enter the final 100 meters as it is Yang slightly in front, giving it her all. It is the finish, 1:55.06. Great last lap from Bingji Yang, takes over the lead from Thi Yin. And it is Antoinette Rijpma de Jong in 4th place at the moment with 1:55.45. So the top 5 within 0.4 of a second at the moment. Close racing here in this last World Cup, the last 1500 meter at a World Cup of this season. Last chance for the women to measure themselves against each other for the World Championships in Hamar in 2 weeks. A happy Yang 1:55.06, leading at the moment. We then move on to the number 7. It is the two rivals in the mass start against each other. Ivani Blondin representing Canada in the inner lane against Francesca Lollobrigida representing Italy in the outer lane. The number 7 and 8 in the 1500 meter World Cup classification. The women always fighting in the mass start. Great racing by them. Of course, with Irene Schouten in the past and with Marike Schoenewoud in this season. As we started with Blondin and Lollobrigida. Lollobrigida slightly in front. So we have the openings. It is 25.9 for Lollobrigida and 26.05 for Blondin. So Blondin ninth last weekend on the 1500 meter. She came home with silver and bronze medal. Silver on the team sprint and third in the mass start. We have the first full lap. Lollobrigida still slightly in front. It is 54.35 for Lollobrigida and 54.39 for Blondin. Both lap times slightly slower than Yang. Still the leader. Lollobrigida third on the 3000 meter last weekend. Already had a bronze medal on this distance in Milwaukee. We go towards the final lap. Very consistent lap times. As they are now fighting to stay in front of each other. Great exchange there from Lollobrigida. Closes that gap towards Blondin. Already catches her and takes lead. Great last inner corner for her. Can she beat the time of Binju Yang? It is 1:54.87, a new leader in the overall classification on this 1500 meter. Francesca Lollobrigida and Ivani Blondin 1:56.91. Difficult last lap for her. She now ends up in the 10th place at the moment. What a great last lap from Lollobrigida. She fights in order to take the lead in this 1500 meter. 28.4, 29.8 and 36. Very consistent for the Italian speed skater. So we then move on to the world champion all around. The inner lane for Joy Beuner from the Netherlands, the number 2 in the overall World Cup classification. She takes it up against another big name in speed skating, Brittany Bowe from the USA.
Go to the start.
Number 4 in the World Cup classification.
Ready.
And for all it is Beuner against Bowe. Bowe is number 2 in the 1000 meter World Cup classification. 11th last weekend on the 1500 meter, 5th on the 1000 meter. Will try to test herself against the best women on this 1500 meters. We see the opening, of course, for Bowe with her speed for that 1000 meters. It is the opening 25.15 and the 25.78 for Beuner. Very difficult exchange. Beuner slightly in front, but that is very good for Bowe, who can get into the track of Beuner. Beuner third at the World Championships 1500 meter last year. Also third in the World Cup last year on this 1500 meter. So this Bowe still leading 53.27 and almost a second ahead of Lollobrigida. 28.1 But it is the faster lap time from Beuner. Now she gets up to speed as the boyfriend Kjeld Nuis, we will see later today, watches her from the warming up room. Now it is Beuner catching Bo, also slightly ahead of Bo as we move towards the bell. The bell for the last lap for Beuner. With those hands on the back, 29.2. Great intermediate lap time from Joey Beuner. And Bo in 30.08. Numbers 1 and 2 in the intermediate lap time. Great race by Beuner. Keeps the rhythm as she enters the last corner, as she's gonna enter the last 100 meters of this 1500 meters pair number 8. Let's see what her time will be. It is a 1:53.70. Great time by Joy Beuner, and it is the 8th place at the moment for Brittany Bowe with the time of 1:55.73. Great race by Beuner, almost 1.2 seconds in front of Lola Bricida, now a second. Third place for Yang. With a very consistent race of Joy Beuner, 27.8, 29.2 and 37. Those are the lap times that have to be beaten by the last 4 skaters. Happy with her race, of course, a great race. And also the approval from her boyfriend, who we'll see later this afternoon. Will, of course, try to beat the unbeatable Jordan Stolz, who we saw earlier on the 500 meter already. So we then move on to pair number 9. It is the winner from last weekend, Marijke Groenewoud, representing the Netherlands in the inner lane against Ragnar Wiklund, representing Norway in the outer lane. Numbers 3 and 5 in the overall World Cup classification.
Ready.
They start with their 1500 meter. Will be slightly different 1500 meters. Both very good in the 3000 and 5000 meter. But Groenewoud, of course, that slightly better start with her mass start experience. The overall leader in the World Cup for the mass start. She won the mass start last weekend, besides the 1500 meter, and her 4th place on the 3000 meters. So the openings 26.1 and 26.4 for Groenewoud and Wiklund. So already slightly behind on Beuner, but they both try to get their 3 full laps as consistent as possible. Wiklund now slightly higher speed, tries to get along Groenewoud. Still Groenewoud leading 28.8, almost 1.3 seconds behind on Beuner, also in the lap time. Now they will have to gain in those last 2 laps on the time of Beuner. Wiklund 4th last weekend, just missed out on the podium, but did win the 3000 meters. This Groenewoud still slightly ahead, but the faster pace for Wiklund. As we hear the bell for last lap, it is Groenewoud 29.7, still loses out. Looks like it is a bit too much to beat Beuner. 1.8 and 2.0 seconds behind. Beuner looking at the scoreboard to see how they are doing as we move into the last 100 meters. Groenewoud fighting for the time, fighting to beat it. It is a 1:55.55, 7th place for Groenewoud. Not the race that she would have liked, like last weekend, and a 1:56.08 for Wiklund. She finds herself back on the 10th place at the moment, but we have still 1 more pair to go. So Böhne waiting if her time of 1:53.70 is enough to win this last 1500 meter. With this pair number 10 now starting, Mai Han. Starting in the inner lane, representing China against the world record holder, the world champion and the winner of the 1500 meter World Cup classification last season. It is, of course, Mio Takagi.
Go to the start.
Won silver last weekend on the 1000 meters.
Ready.
Won silver, of course, only 1500 meters. And did win the 1000 meters. A great weekend last week for her. Can she do it again? We'll see it here shortly. As she takes the early lead over Han. Han second on the World Championships last year. Second in the World Cup classification last season. Now finds herself in 6th place as it is 25.2 for Takagi. Already 5/10 up on Böhne. She is ready alongside Han. Great technique by Takagi. With a slightly higher speed by Han, it looked like. As it is, Takagi 28.0. Slightly slower than Böhne. And Böhne should also be looking at that to see the difference on the bottom right of the screen. So 0.2 of a second. This is Takagi leading over Böhne. Han 0.2 behind. But it's still very close racing as we go towards the bell for the last lap for Takagi. 0.3 of a second it is. Can she hold on? The 29.3 again. Slightly slower than Böhne, and that last lap of Böhne was very good, 30.7, but this may be her rescue. Han in front, breaking the air, but we see that is moving back. The advantage 0.2, and now it's even. Let's see what this time will be of Takagi. Will it Böhne or Takagi? Here we have the finish of Takagi. It is the win for Böhne. Second place for Takagi with 1:53.99. And it is the third place for Mai Han in 1:54.54. It was all about that last lap of Böhne. Start was faster from Takagi, but then those 3 full laps of Böhne were just a bit too much to ask for. It's still a great race from Takagi. With a great confidence boost for Böhne, as she will get confidence for the World Championship in 2 weeks. She is on a good track. For the rest, still a bit more work to do in the upcoming 2 weeks. And here it is, reaction of Joy Böhne. Of course, the sportsmanship between Mio Takagi and Joy Böhne. So we have the final results here. It is the win for Joy Böhne for Mio Takagi. Mai Han in third. Francesca Lollivica, also a great 1500 meter by her in fourth. And Binju Yang in 5th place. Quite a big gap there between Mai Han and Joy Böhne, but it will be very exciting to see in about 2 weeks the battle between Mio Takagi and Joy Böhne. We have the numbers 11 to 20. This 1500 meters, and also the update of the World Cup standings, the final standings. It is Takagi who takes the win for Joy Böhne and Mai Han. Those are the top 3 in the World Cup classification. So that concludes the 1500 meters for the women. We then have a short break and continue with the 1500 meters for the men, the final event of today. But of course not the final event of this weekend. A lot more racing to come tomorrow and on Sunday. So here we go, the last event of today, the men's 1500 meters. In this ISU World Cup speed skating number 6, the last and final World Cup of this season. Last moment for the men to measure themselves against each other before the World Championships. Here it is, the World Cup standings. 5 wins for Jordan Stolz, the maximum amount of points for him. Peter Kozau is 7th and Kjeld Naus, the track record holder, in 3rd. As we have the starting list. We had a withdrawal for Vladimir Simeruni in race number 1, pair number 1. That's why Finn Sonnekal will be starting alone. Never great, but it is how it is, and here it is pair number 6 to 10 with, of course, Stolz in pair number 8, Naus in pair number 9, and Min Soo Kim against Zhongyan Ning in pair number 10. As we have the Finn Sonnekal from Germany, only 17 years old.
Go to the start.
Junior world champion all round. He has to start on his own due to that
Ready.
withdrawal of Vladimir Simeruni. And he's away in this first pair. So won the 1000 and 1500 meters during the World Junior Championships in Colombo 2 weeks ago. Already world champion, now he can compete during this 6th and last World Cup of the season in the A group. As we have the opening 23.8 for Sonnekal. Great to see new German speed skater coming up. Of course, after Beckstein. Won the 1500 meter last weekend in the B group. Gained enough points to now be starting in the A group. It is 49.84. 85 it is. 26.05 intermediate lap time for Sonnekal. Number 38 in the World Cup overall classification. So here's the bell. The bell for the last lap, 1:17.41. He is on track. Maybe beat his personal best, 1:46.33. Can he beat that? Just 2 weeks after. It will probably be his peak during that Junior World Championships. Here he comes on his way to the finish line. His time to beat for the personal best, 1:46.33. It just missed out. But still a great time for him, 1:46.47 with lap time of 29.06. For the German Sonnekal. Great to see the youngster here on the ice of TL Heerenveen. Bright future for him. He sets the first time of this competition, and we then move on to second pair. This is the inner lane for Joep Wennemars, and here he is actually. It was in the end not Vladimir Samurai
Go to the start.
who did a start. It was Bart Twings who withdrawn, and therefore all the skaters in the outer lanes moved up.
Ready.
So it's Wennemars against Diederik Engstrand. Against Vladimir Simeruni. Now in the outer lane. Wennemars 16 last weekend on the 1500 meter. One of the few top speed skaters from the Netherlands that did skate. Most of them took an extra week of training to be in their best form this weekend, but also in 2 weeks for that World Championships. Joep Wennemars taking the early lead in front of Vladimir Simeruni. Third in the B group last week. 7th on the European Championships. There it is, 49.58 for Joep Wennemars. Lap time 25.83. Slightly faster than Sonnekal, but can he keep that speed up? For son of Erben Wennemars, former world champion sprint. Now one of the commentators for the Dutch television. He's present here in TL. As we hear the bell for the last lap for Joep Wennemars. Great intermediate lap. Increases his gap to Sonnekal. Tries to keep that rhythm, tries to keep that speed. Vladimir Semeruni trying to close the gap, has that higher speed. There he comes, the Polish skater. What a great last lap from him. As he moves in front of Wennemars. Pushes out a little bit more of that energy in 1:45.29. A big personal best of almost 2 seconds for him. And that last lap, 27.49. What a great last lap. Also quite young, 22 years old. What a surprise that he came with so much speed in that last lap. 26.6, 26.7 and a 27.4. Very constant. Very consistent from the young Polish skater. We then move on to pair number 3. It is the inner lane for the Dutchman Tijmen Snel. And the outer lane will be for the Norwegian
Go to the
Diederik
start.
Engstrand. Numbers 22 and 15 from the World Cup standing.
Ready.
Strand also quite young, 19 years old. Skated in the World Junior Championships. Same as Sonnekal. Came in second, right behind him. Right behind the German speed skater in second, only 1,000 and 1,500 meters. Let's see what he can do, but it is Snel. 23.39. Great opening from Snel, but we know he's also a great 1,000-meter skater. Those last lap, that will be the most important lap for him. If he can get through that, he may beat Polish leader at the moment, Semeruni. Great speed already, also from Diederik Engstrand. 22 seconds in front, 25.5. First lap of all skaters below the 26 seconds. Can he keep that speed up? Still a lot of relaxation in his body. As Strand tries to close that gap. We hear the bell for the last lap for Snel. 27.04, 1.5 seconds. Slower than his last lap. Can he keep this up? 1.8 seconds in front of Semeruni. Strand 1:17.37. As it really slows a little bit. Can he keep up that speed? Drops below the 50 kilometers per hour. Strand tries to close that gap, but here we already have the finish for Snel. It is the 1:45.05. Great race by Snel. And this 1:45.66, slightly behind his personal best for Diederik Engstrand. So we have a new leader in the overall classification. It is Snel before Semeruni and Diederik Engstrand in third at the moment. We then move on to pair number 4. Daniele Di Stefano representing Italy.
Go to the start.
He takes it up against Kachucha Jama from Japan in the outer lane as we saw Stoltz. Just became second in the 500 meter. We'll be starting for the second time today, this 1500 meters. But first we have to start off pair number 4. It is Di Stefano against Yamada. Number 13 and 14 of the World Cup overall classification. Di Stefano 6th last weekend. The 1500 meter and a mass start medal already this season in Beijing. 23.9, 23.6 for Stefano and Yamada. Slightly behind on Snell. We see the fan for supporting Italy. It is Di Stefano and Yamada, both the same intermediate time, 49.58. Great exchange there for Di Stefano, trying to close the gap towards the Japanese skater. Now in front it is Di Stefano giving it his all. 26-year-old from Italy, 26.7. 3/10 faster than Snell. And Snell had a slightly slower last lap, 29.0 seconds. So there is some room for improvement there. Can Di Stefano beat it? He keeps the rhythm. Stays in front of Yamada as he moves across the finish line. It is the new overall leader, Daniele Di Stefano, 144.89 and 145.47 for Kazuya Yamada in the 4th place. So Snell loses his number 1 spot. It is Daniele Di Stefano who takes over the lead. Very consistent race from the Italian. 25.6, 26.7 and 28.5. Those are the 3 full lap times for the 26-year-old Italian. He waves towards the fans. And here we have them. It is pair number 5. Again, a Dutch pair. In a lane for the Dutchman, Tim Prince. Against the other Dutchman, Wesley Dice in the outer lane. Number 11 and 12 from the World Cup classification. Wesley Dice already experienced within the World Cup circuit. Against the 21-year-old Tim Prince, still quite young. He made an impressive first few World Cup seasons together with his teammate Yannick de Bow, of course, who we saw winning the 500 meter earlier today. So we have the fast opening of Prince, 23.2 against 23.5 from Wesley Dice. Already speeds towards the 60 kilometers per hour in this 1500 meters. And can they keep that speed up? Let's see. It is Dice now on the inner corner, trying to close the gap, but Prince slightly in front. And also the higher speed for him, 25.3. Great lap by Prince, already second in front of Di Stefano, but we know from Di Stefano that he had some consistent laps. Prince, great exchange for him, can get across to Dice, already beside him at the corner entry of that inner corner. Difficult inner corner there for Prince. A lot of speed, a lot of pressure on those legs as we hear the bell for the last lap for Prince. Dice trying to keep with him, 26.5. Great intermediate lap. Again, slightly faster than Di Stefano. Now 1.2 seconds in front. And it looks like he keeps his speed as he moves into the last corner. Difficult last outer corner for him. lose a bit of his rhythm, lose a bit of his speed, but can he keep up? Dice trying to close that gap on that last straight, but it is a 1:44.4 for Tim Prince. Great race by the Dutchman. 29.2 his last lap. Very consistent. It was Dice in fourth. The 1:45.23. Already some great racing within the first 5 pairs. We then move on to pair number 6. You see Prince happy with his performance. The overall leader before Di Stefano and Snell. This Stefan Emele representing Germany in the inner lane against Satoru Ichone representing Japan. They have started in pair number 6. Emele 9th last weekend. The 1500 meter 15th. Only 1000 meter the 1500 meter national record holder, German champion on the 1500 meter takes the lead with 23.7 opening 300 meters. Against the Satoru Ichino from Japan, 12 last weekend, 10th on the 5000 meter. Will also be skated tomorrow. The Japanese champion as well on this distance in Nagano. First intermediate time 49.69 against the 56.3 for Ichinoe. As it is, Emele crossing over Ichinoe on the exchange. But the speeds will be slightly slower compared to Tim Prince. Already 1.8 seconds behind when they get the belt over the last lap. Lap time of 27.2 where Tim Prince at the 26.5. Prince quite early in the 15 meters. We see the final push from Ichinoe. Wins this pair. 1:45.64. 7th place at the moment and 1:45.91 for Stefan Emele. This is the 9th place at the moment for him. So great race there by Prince in pair number 5. 4th in Milwaukee on this distance already. 4th in the World Cup classification, 1000 meters. Yet to win that World Cup medal this season. We move on to pair number 7. We go on to the final 4 pairs. You see the inner lane. Connor Howe representing Canada. Number 7 in the World Cup classification. Takes it up against Taiju Nonomura.
Go to the start.
Representing Japan, number 8 in the World Cup classification.
Ready.
Start of pair number 7. Great start by the Japanese. Against the Canadian Howe, the Canadian champion on the 1500 meter. Joseph has that slightly slower start, but when he has the speed, he can keep it. It is the opening for Nanomura. 23.57 and 23.76 for Connor Howe. There's the speed of the Canadian, also going towards that 60 kilometers per hour. Great rhythm in that outer corner. Tries to stay along with Nonomura. Now even slightly ahead. That's where the speed is coming from. The 25.6 for Connor Howe against 26.0 for Tao Nonomura. Both already slightly behind on Prince. Prince, the 1,000 and 1,500 meter specialist. It is Howe pushing once more to get to the bell. The bell for the last lap. 26.7 again. A very consistent race for Howe. 27.2 for Nonomura. Already almost a second behind on Prince, but it was Prince with 29.2 in that last lap. Still a bit of room for the other skaters to gain on his final time, as we see his final time to beat 144.41. He comes close, but it's not enough. 144.84 for Connor Howe and a 145.88 for Tao Nonomura. That's what a 1,500 meter does with you. So it is Prince leading for Howe and Di Stefano. That's your top three skaters at the moment. As we move to the final three pairs, and here we have him. First one that will be battling for the win today. It is, of course, Jordan Stolz. With the 500 meter already in his legs. Can he perform what he has done the whole season on this 1500 meter? Can he get that 6th win and win all World Cups this season on the 1500 meters against Sander Eitram, representing Norway in the outer lane, the number 4 in the overall World Cup classification.
Ready.
And that's the start. It is the world champion 500,000 and 1,500 meters against the European all-round champion. That will be the battle today. It is Stolz, of course, leading with that great speed from that 500 meter earlier today. He will be gaining some early speed, and Eitram, we will see him back in the last 2 laps. We will try to close that gap to Stolz. 33.3 for Stolz. Almost exactly the same as Prince. And Eitram 23.9. Speed's not as fast as Prince. We almost reached the 60 kilometers per hour. This was mentioned in one of the interviews. A little bit sick a couple of weeks ago. 49.1, 25.8. That's half a second slower than Prince, actually. As we see the difference on the bottom right. Crosses over Sander Eitram. Great exchange there for Eitram. Now he will try to keep with Stolz. So Stolz retrenching to a couple of interviewers. That was a big sit the last couple of weeks, so not in his best form yet, but still has 2 weeks to go. Here's the 116.3 for Stolz. 1.2 seconds behind on Prince, and that will be a bit too much, you would say, but we see the great last lap from Eitram on the inside. Gets along and gets in front of Stolz. Looks like he's gonna beat Stolz, but can he beat Prince? We'll see it on the finish line. It is the 144.2 for Eitram. He takes over the lead from Tim Prince. And the 144.7 for Stolz. Now in 3rd place. Some exciting stuff already in pair number 8. We still have 4 skaters left. And I think also a great chance for Nuis to get hold of that first gold World Cup medal of this season. He wants it so bad. Gain the form over the season. Will today be his day? We'll shortly see it, as we'll see him in the next pair. But what a great race from the Norwegian Sander Eitram. A slightly slower start, of course. compared to Jordan Stolz, but in the end, he managed to keep that speed and close the gap to Stolz as we start with pair number 9, the inner lane. Norwegian Peter Kongshaug against the Dutchman,
Go
the
to
world
the start.
record holder, 3-time Olympic champion Kjeld Nuis in the outer lane.
Ready.
That's unfortunate false start there from the Norwegian Peter Kongshaug. Number 3 from the World Championships last season.
False start outer lane, taking your
Second
position
last weekend
too
on
slowly.
the 1500 meter. Now a bit too fast.
Go to the start. Ready.
Complete silence for the restart, and they are away in pair number 9. It is the 23-year-old Kongshaug against the 35-year-old Nuis. The world record holder, 3-time Olympic champion last weekend. He was 5th on the 1500 meter, the Dutch champion. Second on the 1000 meter. Now he starts with the 23.5. Great technique by Nuis there. And the 23.7 for Kongshaug. Second and the European Championships all around. Won the 1500 meter during that championship. As it is Nuis on the inside. Great inner corner. Great speed as he moves in front of Kongshaug. And here's the first full lap, 25.4 and the 25.4 for Kongshaug as well. Both almost the exact lap times. And both way faster than Eitram. But we know from Eitram that he had those very fast laps at the end of his 1500 meter. Kongshaug in the inner corner. Can he close that gap to Nuis? It looks like it. Side by side. Kongshaug a little bit in front of Nuis. As we go towards the last lap, the bell for the last lap. It's 26.4. Great intermediate lap by Kongshaug. And also a great lap by Kjeld Nuis. Now it is all about the last 200 meters. Nuis with those hands on the back. Looks like he gains a little bit on Kongshaug. Can Kongshaug keep his lead? No, he isn't. It is Kjeld Nuis on the inside. Great battle here in Tialf, side by side as they go towards the finish. It is Kongshaug who wins, who takes the lead. 1:44.01. Great race by Kongshaug and Nuis. Great battle here on the ice as they move in front of Eitram. So Kongshaug, Nuis and Eitram, that's the top 3 at the moment. What a great last 200 meters. It looked like Nuis slight hiccup there at the end of that last corner. There was a little bit of speed there. It was Kongshaug who gained a little bit more on that last straight. And in the end, ends up slightly in front of the experienced Dutchman, Kjeld Nuis. But it looked like he's happy with his race. Of course, looking forward to the World Championships in 2 weeks, as we still have one more pair to go. After that great battle between Kongshaug and Nuis, we now see for China in the inner lane, Zhang Ning, the world champion sprint from 2024, against Min-Soo Kim, the bronze medal winner on this distance during the 2022 Olympic Games.
Ready.
Skated, of course, for Korea. Since this year is now skating for Hungary. That's the start of the 10th and last pair. What can they do? We'll be comparing them to the great race that we just saw, the great race of Kongshao and Nuis. 1:44.01 for Kongshao. Let's see what Ning can do. It is 23.55. But it's all about consistency is what we see during this 1500 meters. Minsu Kim 23.89. Can Ning skate the best lap times of his life to beat Kongshao? Winner of the World Cup 1500 meter last season, 49.11, 25.5. Slightly slower, 1/10 slower compared to Kongshao, but this is a great exchange for him. It will reduce a little bit of that drag. There we see it, the comparison against Kongshao, as they are almost exactly at the same intermediate time. We have the bell for the last lap for Ning. What will be? It will 26.6, slightly slower than Kongshao, but what will his last time be? The last lap of Kongshao, 28.3, some room left there. If he can keep up that speed, Kongshao. It is Ning against Kongshao and of course Kim. Kim trying to close the gap, but can Ning keep up that speed? We'll see it here as he finishes in a 1:44.38, outside of the podium even. And that means that we have a win for Kongshao after that great battle with Kjeld Nuis. So what a fierce battle on this 1500 meter. It is the top 8 within a second. The top 4 within 4/10, top 5 even within 4/10 of a second. So a great battle here on this first day of the 1500 meters. The last 1500 meter in the World Cup this season. You see the replay of the last race. Zhang Ning trying to beat the time of Peter Kongshao, but in the end finishes just outside of the podium. And the celebrations of Peter Kongshao together with his coach. 23-year-old Norwegian speed skater. Together with 20-year-old Julian Stoltz. Great to see the youngsters getting that speed up. And the great battles on the ice here of TLF Heerenveen. That concludes the 1500 meter, and with that the first day of this final World Cup of the season. To see Kjeld Nuis. He was so close, with 12 hundredths of a second behind on Kongshao. In the end it was the third place for Sander Eitram. Only 20 hundredths of a second behind on Kongshao. 1/10. Kjeld Nuis shouts only 1/10 behind. Because he would have really liked, of course, to get that first gold World Cup medal of this season.
Heel veel succes voor Tio van de Rijn voor Tim Prins. Ja, dankjewel. Natuurlijk ook de mooie prestaties van Nederland. Jullie weten niet, ladies and gentlemen, hebben DQ? Een hele duidelijke nummer 6 slag. De klap is gewoon on stages. And you must be sure of what's so custom here in Heerenveen.
Hij trapte een blok uit de buitenbaan. Dus dan ga je over de lijn heen en dan weet je het niet.
You hear a bell, check the church bell.
It looks like it is a disqualification for Kjeld Nuis, is what we're hearing here. And here it is. It actually is a very clear disqualification for Kjeld Nuis. Very rare one as well. Don't see that very often, but we see the block there, which are placed on the inside of the blue lanes, which means that if you touch them, you know for sure that you've crossed the blue lane on the wrong side and therefore skated not exactly 400 meters.
Is oké. Maar nou zit ik Rico van Brizi met iedereen uit Milaan. Jullie mogen allemaal naar de Olympische Spelen als je het goed doet. Komt-ie.
That's why we're waiting for the final results. You see a little bit of blood there on the foot of Kjeld Nuis.
Dames en heren, mocht u dat doen, staat ladies and gentlemen, if you're able, please stand up. Please stand up, dames en heren.
We have the final results here. So indeed it is a disqualification for Kjeld Nuis. So it is Kongsau in first, Eitram in second, and Ning moving up to the bronze medal in third. As you see, very close battle between the top 5 or now the top 4 skaters. Only 4 tenths between them. Here is number 11 to 18 with Kjeld Nuis. Indeed, a DQ for crossing the line in the corner. You saw the replay earlier in this live stream. We have an update of the World Cup standings. It is Jordan Stoltz who wins this 1500 meter this year's World Cup for Kongsau and Eitram. Ning in 4th, Nuis in 5th. That's the top 5 of the overall World Cup classification, as we also see the numbers 11 to 20. That concludes the first day of this 6th and final ISU World Cup speed skating here in TL Heerenveen. I will thank you all for watching, and hopefully we'll see you back tomorrow on Saturday, 14:05 local time for the 1000 meters women Division A. So thank you all for watching. Have a good day, have a good evening from wherever you're watching, and hopefully we'll see you back tomorrow.
laten.
The prize-giving ceremony for the ISU World Cup Speed Skating Heerenveen 2025 1500 meter women. In third place with a time of 1:54.52, representing the People's Republic of China, Han Mei. Second place, with a final time of 1:53.99, representing Japan, Miho Takagi.
wel gewoon kunnen volhouden. En ik haal heel veel vertrouwen uit de wedstrijd die we hebben gereden. Dus, maar met deze ben ik heel blij.
Gefeliciteerd, succesvol verder in het weekend. Tian, nog even een heel groot applaus voor Joy Borden.
Het was gisteren dat we nachtelang dronken.
Zo beste vrienden, we hebben zometeen natuurlijk nog 2 huldigingen te gaan. Totaal zelfs 3 huldigingen, excuses, ik kijk hier naar Brinkje. Als je een klein beetje deze kant op willen komen, dan word je in de steekkamer wordt van harte welkom gegeten door alle mensen die hier zitten. Hij heeft misschien nog een beter beeld. Anderhalf uur ongeveer gaan we nog met de volgende huldiging. En wie kan nog beter die wachttijd voorhelpen dan Mark van weer. Zo, dames en heren, de dames staan opgeleid. We gaan naar het klassement toe.
In third place, with a total of 224 points, representing the People's Republic of China, it's Han Mei! The trophies will be presented again by Mr. Sergio Alessi, representative of the RSU. The flowers will be presented by Mr. Herman Lahan, President Director of the World Dutch Skating Federation. In
big hand for Mio Takagi.
Mooi, leven in de gimmers die daar zijn. Mooi om die voor die camera laten zien. Dankjewel collega Gisha natuurlijk. Wij gaan even afwachten op de volgende huldiging. Dan gaan we naar de heren. We zijn over een paar muziekmaten bij jullie terug, zou ik willen zeggen.
World Cup Speed Skating Heerenveen 2025, 1500 meters men. In third place, with a time of 1:44.38, representing the People's Republic of China, Ning Zhongyang. And the medals will be again presented by Mr. Sergio Anesi, representative of the ISU. And the local gifts will be presented by Mr. Nico Blijsdood, Vice President of International Sales at Holland America Line. In second place, with a time of 1:44.21, representing Norway, Sander Eitrem. And then in first place and winner of this 1500 meter men in a time of 1:44.01, representing Norway, Peder Komsøy! Give them one more big applause, our top three of this 1500 meter man. In third place, Ning Zhongyang. Second, Sander Eitrem. And the winner, Peder Komsøy!
I have to say just TL bedankt.
How is it with the legs? I saw you walking to the podium and one question, how is your leg?
Yeah, my legs were screaming, but the audience cheered louder, so it trumps the pain in my legs, so yeah, it was a good race.
A big hand for Peter Koksal!
Mooi, dames en heren, dat de voertaal binnen het internationale schaatsen begint een klein beetje Nederlands te worden. Dat is wel mooi, hè? Worden we straks de voorzitter van de ISU al. En nou, Pieter Kok zou ik nog een keer gewoon keurig in het Nederlands dankjewel zeggen. Nou, speciaal voor de mensen die blijven is dat natuurlijk extra mooi. We gaan nog even wachten op de volgende huldiging. Dat betekent ongeveer nog een minuutje.
You know you make me wanna shout. Look my hands jumping back. Look my heart pumping back. Throw my head back. Come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Yeah, don't forget to shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Throw your head back, baby. Come on, come on. Throw your head back. Ooh. Come on now. Say that you love me. Say that you need me. Say that you want me. Ain't gonna be me. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. I still remember when you used to be 9 years old. Yeah, yeah. I was over you from the bottom of my soul. Yeah, yeah. Now that he's old enough to know you wanna leave me, you wanna love me so.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Here's the last ceremony of tonight. Dames en heren, we gaan over naar de laatste ceremonie protocolair van vandaag.
Ladies and gentlemen, the overall World Cup ceremony, ISU World Cup Speed Skating 2025, 1500 meters men. In third place, with a total of 265 points, representing Norway, Sander Eitrem. The trophies will be presented by Mr. Sergio Anasi, the representative of the ISU. And the flowers will be presented by Mr. Herman de Haan, the president of the Royal Dutch Skating Federation. And then in second place, with a total of 291 points, also representing Norway, Peter Koksal. And then in first place, and the winner of the overall World Cup 1500 meters men, with a total of 340 points, he won 5 out of 6 1500 meters this season. He represents the United States of America. He is Jordan Stoltz! gentlemen, the final applause of today. Our top three of this season's 1500 meter men World Cup. Third place, Sander Eikrem. Second, Peter Kongshout. And the winner, Jordan Stoltz.
So many people, they all really appreciate skating. It's really great, and it's nice when you come here and everybody's screaming and cheering. And I love it. So.
Tomorrow you have to race 2,000, and
For something good. Something good. For something good. Something good. For something good. Something good.
Season, of course, ice a little bit on Hamar, but today we have had a great event over here. Wonderful ice speed skating and the best audience of the world once more. So thank you. We hope to see you again once again this weekend, of course, or perhaps one of the other events of KNSB or the ISU, of course, around the globe. Dames en heren, heel erg bedankt voor je komst vandaag naar de eerste dag van de ISU World Cup hier in Heerenveen. Het was hartstikke goed dat jullie hier waren. We hebben echt het dak laten trillen met de atleten samen. Dus het is in die zin een pakket wat helemaal compleet was. Het aardige is, volgend seizoen gaan we nog een keer helemaal gas geven. Natuurlijk hier in Tialf. En dan gaan we ook nog een keer op weg naar de Olympische Spelen. Wil je daar nou bij zijn, schrijf je in voor onze nieuwsbrief. Dan heb je niet alleen maar de laatste nieuwtjes van wanneer de toernooien zijn, hoe laat ze beginnen en de tickets die je daarvoor kan winnen. Dan krijg je ook nog eens een keer een extra vroege melding ervan. Dus kijk even mee naar de grote schermen en scan de QR-code die je daarop kan zien. En heb je daar inderdaad, kun je inschrijven voor de nieuwsbrief en natuurlijk ook de pre-sale voor het seizoen 2025-26. Very much to all of you and everybody who worked in this wonderful ISU World Cup 6. Dames en heren, heel erg wel thuis. Doe een beetje voorzichtig buiten. We zeggen graag op z'n Fries. Houdoe!